Si Jiaoxi accidentally traveled to the world of pirates and the country, gaining the ability to use spells to expand his territory during battles. However, to fully unleash the power of his territory, he needs to be famous in the world of pirates. The more famous he is, the more territories he can expand and the stronger his power will be. Shijo-si invited Yamato to escape from the land of peace and embark on an adventure at sea, becoming the world's strongest and most famous pirate. Keywords of the novel. People in the pirate realm. No pop-ups, people in the pirate realm. Download the complete TXT collection, People in the Pirate Realm. Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Rebirth and the Kingdom of Harmony. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Rebirth and the Kingdom of Harmony won the new world, the country of harmony. Si Jiaoxi walked on the streets of the flower capital, his clothing not matching the rest of the people on this street. However, he did not receive any unusual looks from others as a result. The fourth Emperor Kaido has been stationed in the Kingdom of Harmony for many years, and the people of the Kingdom of Harmony have long been accustomed to these people dressed in strange clothes. There are also many people from his own country who have entered the factories established by Kaido to work, wearing traditional clothing that is not in his own country. However, Si Jiaoxi did not wear different clothes because he joined Kaido. But it's because Shijo-si is actually a traveler from the Heavenly Dynasty. Although Shijo-si has loved watching various Japanese comics since he was young, he still cannot accept wearing this kind of traditional Japanese clothing, which is the same as traditional Japanese clothing. Dong. Come to the mansion of Ichi. Si Jiaoxi rudely pushed the door heavily and entered. Several guards with swords inside the door heard the sound and looked towards the door. For adults. The guards bowed respectfully and shouted when they saw that it was Si Jiaoxi. Is Crazy Death Lang here? Mr. Crazy Death Lang is upstairs sipping tea with General Snake. TSK. Is the big snake actually there too? Forget it, I'll wait here for a while. After speaking, Si Jiaoxi found a seat in the lobby and sat down casually. The guards didn't say anything more when they saw the situation. They didn't dare to offend Si Jiaoxi. People in the country of Watanabe are aware of the deeds of Shikoku, and Shikoku truly gained power through his own strength. Even when he was with General Snake, he still had an independent and disrespectful demeanor. It's just that Shijo-si's strength is indeed strong, so strong that even Big Snake wouldn't care whether Shijo-si would respect him. As long as Si Jiaoxi doesn't think about overthrowing his position as a general. Although Orochi doesn't have much emotional attachment to Shikoku, Shikoku doesn't really like Orochi at all. In my past life, when I watched One Piece, I thought that the Great Snake was really a small person among the small people. The Great Snake and Blackbeard were the same type of person, relying on their cunning. In the early stages, they waited patiently for opportunities and turned things around. But Big Snake doesn't have the strength of Blackbeard. In the original work, the Great Snake paddled throughout the entire process. If it weren't for the strong fruit ability of the Great Snake, it would probably have been easy at the beginning. For a long time. Si Jiaoxi used his aura to notice that there was only one person's breath left in the banquet room on the second floor. It must be that the Big Snake had left. So Shijo-si stood up, walked upstairs, and arrived at the banquet hall. Upon hearing the sound of the door, Mad Death Lang turned around and saw that it was Shijo-si. Kuangdia Lang smiled and said, "It seems that my place is really lively today. Lord Shijo, what's the point of entering my mansion? Expand the field." Shijo-si raised his right hand and crossed his index and middle fingers. Suddenly, the surroundings became dark and empty, and then countless rays of light began to swiftly pass behind Shijo-si, like the stars of the universe. "Chuanjilang, can we have a frank conversation here? Why hasn't the ship I asked for last time been delivered to me after a week?" Si Jiaoxi said to Kuangdia Lang with some anger. "This was not intentional by me, as you know, the country has been isolated for hundreds of years. It's not easy to build a ship that can pass through. Don't talk nonsense to me here. On Kaido's side, the daily shipment volume of Hai Lu Shur is so high. They easily went out to sea, so it was so difficult for me. Kaido is Kaido, they are different from us. Even you haven't dared to challenge Kaido's people, have you? Crazy Death Lang squinted his eyes and looked at Shijo Si, saying. Si Jiao Si is still afraid to challenge the people of Kaido, mainly because he cannot fight. So Si Jiao Si decided to embark on an adventure at sea. Because everything that can be learned in the country of harmony has already been learned, and the dominance of Sakura has also been mastered. But knowing the dominance of Sakura doesn't mean you can beat the fourth Emperor Kai more. In the original work, mastering the dominance of flowing Sakura is just a way to break through Kaido's defense. If you really want to defeat Kaido, you still need to have the power of the dominant color entanglement. Or perhaps it is already strong enough. For example, the strength reaches the level of a naval general. Moreover, as a welfare for the adventurers, Shijo Si can use spells to fight in various fields in the world of pirates. However, so far, Shijo Si has only been able to transform into an empty shell without any killing power. It's not possible to expand the field like Teacher Gojo did, and with just one click, you'll give the enemy a second. Now Shijo Si can only achieve the appearance of an infinite void. If his power were the same as that of Wuzhou Wu, Shijo Si would have gone to defeat Kaido long ago. The only way to upgrade your field is to gain fame. That is to say, the more famous you are in this world, the more fields you can unleash and the greater your power. In the country of Watanabe, Shijo Si is already a well-known person, but he can only use an infinite void without killing power. So Si Jiao Si had the idea of embarking on an adventure at sea. Moreover, with the current strength of Si Jiao Si, she will be the most powerful in terms of Sakura's domineering aura, coupled with her impressive aura of seeing and hearing. It should be famous all over the world and the Great Waterway soon. Chuanjilang, aren't you a retainer of the Guanyue family? How could you say such a thing? Kaido is an aggressor. If I had the ability to kill Kaido one day, I would definitely go and kill him on horseback. But now my strength is not enough. I want to go out to see the world and improve my strength. If I stay in this country of harmony all the time, then I will be like those ignorant people outside, unaware of their rise and fall. How do I grow? Chuanjilang, help me. Crazy Death Lang smiled and said, you look a bit like Lord Oda back then. Lord Oda said everything he wanted to go to sea with white beard. If Lord Oda hadn't left back then, how could he have been usurped by petty people like the Black Charcoal Snake? How could 4th Emperor Kaido come to our country and cause harm to our side? I'll help you contact the quarry, but I can't guarantee that you can be arranged in. Thank you. Si Jiao Si opened up the territory and left the residence of Lang. A few days later, Crazy Death Lang found Shijo Si. Everything has been arranged, but for the security patrol work at the quarry, if you want to go out to sea with the cargo ship, you will need Si Jiao Si to come up with a solution on your own. Si Jiao Si said it's okay, as long as you can enter Kaido's territory, it's enough. On this day, Si Jiao Si officially entered the Hai Lu Shur quarry located in Tuwan. In the quarry, there are local residents of the Kingdom of Harmony, as well as pirates captured by the 100 Beasts pirates outside. New book release, Seeking Collection. The internal investment has passed, you can invest with peace of mind. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Meeting Yamato. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Meeting Yamato 2 Si Jiao Si has been working at the quarry for a week now. Through this week's investigation, Si Jiao Si is ready to sneak into a cargo ship and leave the country of Heji one night. Aren't you the new security guard? Why are you on the cargo ship's side? Just as Shijo was preparing to board the ship, a voice suddenly came from behind. Si Jiao Si thought to himself, not good, he was actually discovered. I have some doubts in my heart. I acted very carefully and there was no one along the way. How could I be discovered? Field expansion. Without saying a word, Si Jiao Si turned around and expanded his field, covering the person within his own domain. Yamato. Upon closer inspection, Shijo Si discovered that the person was actually Yamato. Wow! What kind of fruit ability is this? It looks so amazing, exclaimed Yamato excitedly. Si Jiao Si saw the situation, and if it were Yamato, he wouldn't need to hide anything. After all, Yamato, like a lunatic, has always called himself Oda. Si Jiao Si suspected that Yamato's body had been taken away by Kazuki Oda. 4 departments will unfold and unravel the field. If you don't have anything to do, don't disturb me. Hurry up and leave, said Shijo Si to Yamato. There's nothing wrong with it, Yamato said as he approached Shishiaji. I said, do you want to leave the country of Yamato? Yeah. Si Jiao Si did not conceal anything. Because Shijo Si knew that Yamato and Kaido were not one-minded and would not stop him or ask Kaido's people to catch him. That's great. I stand here like this every day, watching the cargo ship leave. I also want to go out to sea. I want to adventure like Kobayashi Oda. Become the real Kobayashi Oda, exclaimed Yamato with envy. If you want to leave, just leave. With your abilities, no one should be able to stop you. And you are Kito's daughter, they dare not stop you, right? Si Jiao Si has some doubts, why doesn't Yamato leave directly? I can't leave. Look. As he spoke, Yamato reached out his hand to Shijo Si, showing a very helpless expression. Bomb handcuffs. Can't you undo them yourself? Shijo looked at Yamato puzzled. Of course I can't unlock it. I don't have a key, and as long as I use brute force, it will explode. The bomb has a great power, and even if I use armed color protection, I am likely to be injured or knocked out. Si Jiao Si looked at Yamato with a surprised expression on his face. Do he remember that Yamato was someone who could entwine with a domineering aura, but wouldn't exude a cherry blossom aura? I'll help you, but there's one condition. Get on my ship and become my crew. I'll take you on a journey that Mitsukawa Oda once walked, to witness this world. As Si Jiao Si spoke, the iconic red airflow of Sakura's domineering aura appeared in his hand. Is that all? That's great. Help me untie it quickly. Yamato agreed without even thinking. Okay. I'll help you untie it now. Si Jiao Si used the dominance of Ryukura to remove the bomb handcuffs that Yamato had used. Si Jiao Si is still very happy to be able to pull Yamato onto his own ship, after all, Yamato's strength is strong. Although it may not be as strong as Si Huang, it should be at the level of 3 disasters. Such strength, as long as it is not directly facing the entire 4th Emperor pirates, is enough to conquer the entire sea. Afterwards, Shijo Si and Yamato secretly infiltrated the cargo ship and left the country of Watanabe. After confirming that they had left the waters of Haji, the 2 of them came out and snatched the entire cargo ship into their own hands. Speaking of which, I don't know your name yet. Yamato asked as he looked at Shijo Si. Ha! You don't know what my name is. You just followed me out. You're really innocent, Shijo Si exclaimed as he looked at Yamato in surprise. My name is Si Jiao Si. Si Jiao Si, then I'll call you Si, Yamato said with a smile. Then Yamato walked to the railing, blew the sea breeze, and looked into the distance, saying, my heart has been beating non-stop now, and I am so happy. The dream I have always dreamed of has finally come true. Do you know how the former pirate king invited his co-captain Raleigh for the first time? Shijo Si walked up to Yamato and asked. The name Pirate King. Raleigh. Raleigh seems to have an impression on me, as mentioned in Oda's diary. Yamato recalled for a moment and said. Well, it's the pirate group that Oda used to be with. The Pirate King said to Raleigh, let's go and turn this world upside down. This is also what I want to say to you, Yamato. Let's turn this world upside down. Oh, good. But how did you know that Oda used to stay on the One Piece's ship? And you also know what their captain once said. The blind spots discovered by Yamato. I heard about it from the retainers of Guanyue. Yamato's excited eyes lit up and shouted, what? So you're a retainer of the Light Moon clan? I thought you were all caught or killed by Kaido. No. I'm not a retainer of the Light Moon clan, I've just encountered a hidden retainer of the Light Moon clan and heard of them. Si Jiao Si quickly retorted. He doesn't want to be a vassal of Kobayashi Oda, after all, in his opinion, Kobayashi Oda is really foolish. No, it's not. Yamato was somewhat disappointed and lowered his head. However, how can we turn this world upside down? Yamato asked in confusion. After thinking for a moment, Si Jiao Si replied, let's first destroy a few naval bases. Then kill a few large pirates with a bounty of hundreds of millions. We can almost make a name for the 4 seas and the entire Great Navigation Channel. Is that all? That should be quite simple, right? Yamato nodded in response. In Yamato's concept, what kind of naval base, what kind of pirate with hundreds of millions of bounties, isn't that something that can be instantly dropped with just one finger in his father's hand? Indeed, for our strength, it's quite simple. After we recruit troops and strengthen our pirate team in the future, we can challenge the 4 emperors. Beasts Kaido, Bigum, White Beard, and Red Hair. I have seen it in Oda's diary, with a white beard and red hair. I have never heard of a big name. Has your father ever called someone named Lingling? Lingling. So, it seems like I did make a phone call. Kadwa called out to Lingling on the other end of the phone. Is that my mom? Yamato suddenly widened his eyes and looked at Shijo Si in horror, asking. After thinking for a while, Si Jiao Si realized that even if Auntie was young and pretty, Kaido wouldn't have made a mistake because of her youthful vigor, and the timing wouldn't be right. They were both on the Rock's ship 40 years ago, and Yamato is only in his 20s now. I don't think so. New book release, Seeking Collection. The internal investment has passed, you can invest with peace of mind. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Land of White Soil. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Land of White Soil 3. After several days of calm sailing, Shijo Si and Yamato sailed to the originally agreed delivery island. The main reason, of course, is that Si Jiao Si only has the permanent pointer he snatched, so he can only come here. I didn't expect to sell for so much money. Kaido really has a good industry chain. The raw materials and processed products of Hai Lu Shi can only be obtained and produced in the country of Haji. Even the world government has to buy from Kaido and Big Snake. Shijo looked at the box containing billions of Bailey and sighed. Aren't we going to turn this world upside down? What are we doing here to sell sea tower stones for? Yamato asked as he looked at Shijo Si, whose eyes had already turned into the symbol of Bailey. Money is very important, buying people's hearts and intelligence all require money, said Shishiasi. So should we go catch a few pirates next? Or maybe the navy? Yamato rubbed his hands and was eager to try. I bought some permanent pointers, let's go here first. Happy Street. Happy Street is the largest underground black market in the waters of the New World, engaged in various commodity transactions, both legal and illegal. Therefore, the likelihood of encountering a pirate on Happy Street is higher. It's really not possible. Just arrest the Queen of Happy Street. Study. Anyway, the first thing he needs to do is to spread his reputation and let the world know about the existence of his 4 disciples, so that his ability to expand his field can be upgraded. Well, I don't understand either. Just take me there. Upon hearing the sound, Si Tiao glanced at Yamato. After these few days of sailing, Si Tiao regretted dragging Yamato onto the ship. Yamato really knows almost nothing except for fighting. She is truly a princess, worthy of the title of Guiji. Let's go. Ah. My money is all gone. Shua. Awakening from the beach, Shijo-si shouted helplessly and angrily. Ah, I thought I was going to die. Aren't you a devil fruit-powered one? Why can you swim? Yamato lay on the beach panting heavily, looking at Shijo-si in confusion. Because I eat noodles and fruits, the sea gives me face so that I can swim. Shijo-si pointed to his face and said. Face fruit. Surprisingly, do you still have this kind of fruit? The sea wants to give you face, so you can swim. It sounds so amazing. I thought my big-mouthed true god fruit was special enough, I didn't want to have face fruit like this. Yamato sat up and looked at Shijo-si in surprise, saying. If you can stand up, let's go and see if there is a town on this island in the distance. Shijo-si reached out his hand and pulled Yamato up. At the beginning, the calm sailing made Shijo-si overestimate his sailing skills. It turned out that the smooth sailing to the destination was all due to Shijo-si's good luck. Just a few hours after going out to sea, they encountered a superstorm. Before they could even expand their territory, Shijo-si and Yamato were all swept into the waves. Shijo-si exerted all his strength to catch Yamato in the waves, and in the end, both of them were beaten to the beach of this island. The two of them walked on an island like the Sahara Desert, not a mirage in the distance, but a real Gobi. Let's walk towards the direction of the Gobi first. If it's a real Gobi, there's a high possibility that there are cities on the other side of the Gobi. What if there isn't one? If not, we might be trapped on this island. We didn't even see a plant on our way here, and we either died of heat or starvation first. But the likelihood of dying from thirst first is the highest, replied Shijo-si. Ah, didn't we just pass away before we became famous in the world? The sea is so dangerous. I can only hope that there is no way out. This is the land of white soil. Baldigo. Huangsha, Gobi, desert, everything here is so lifeless. However, on the white soil, the people living there are full of passion and vitality. On the watchtower. There seem to be two people. Pirates. Navy. Or people who have suffered shipwrecks. One of them dressed like a person from the Kingdom of Harmony, while the other dressed like a pirate. The Kingdom of Harmony. Pirates. Are they people of the fourth Emperor Kaido? It's very likely to explain the situation to the dragon leader. And in the desert, Shijo-si and Yamato are already a bit short of water. It's so hot, and also so thirsty, Yamato said, leaning on a wolf-tooth stick with one hand and wiping sweat with the other. I remember your fruit ability can spray ice, can't it? Quickly switch to animal mode, we can not only cool down, but also turn the ice into water to drink. Si Tiao-si was also extremely hot, sticking out his tongue and saying to Yamato. Yeah, I forgot about it all. Yamato's eyes lit up, as if seeing the dawn of survival. Subsequently, Yamato transformed into a human animal form. No attendant Binjia. A strong cold air sprayed out towards the distance. Si Tiao-si stood around the air conditioner, showing a happy smile and muttering, "It's so cool." And the lookout on the distant Gobi was scared to death, thinking they had already been discovered. After all, there are still those who have a strong aura and can see things from afar. A cold current passed through the lookout's body, causing him to shiver. The suspension bridge effect caused the lookout to think that the shiver was due to his sense of the power of Yamato's attack, and fear was generated. They are very dangerous. The lookout fired a red signal flare. And the other lookout just ran into the base. Dragon leader, we. Drop by drop. First level alarm. First level alarm. Oh no, Casey. The lookout collapsed on the ground. It seems that someone has discovered us. Sabo took our comrades, brought important documents, and went to emergency shelter number 3. Long turned his head and said to Sabo, "I'll investigate and figure out who came to us." The dragon said and walked out of the door. Storm. With a wave of his big hand, the originally clear sky suddenly shrouded in dark clouds, lightning and thunder, and in an instant, wind and rain mixed. On the desert, Shijo-si and Yamato, 2 people, were gnawing on the ice that Yamato had transformed with his abilities. Suddenly, it started pouring rain. "It's raining," Yamato said as he looked at the sky covered in dark clouds. The Great Navigation Channel is truly a place of unpredictable changes. As he spoke, Si suddenly remembered something. In the original work, Vivi and Straw Hat explained the weather system of the Great Navigation Channel. Although the weather on the sea is sometimes cloudy and sunny, like a little girl in love, her emotions are unpredictable. But after arriving on the island, the climate will become stable. And this island is clearly a summer island, and it is a desert island, so it is impossible for a sudden storm to occur. Si frowned and warned, "Yamato, be careful, there is a strong enemy." New book release, seeking collection. The internal investment has passed, you can invest with peace of mind. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Versus Dragon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Versus Dragon 4. Faced with the sudden storm, Shijo-si became vigilant. Because according to the weather system of Pirate World, the climate of an island is stable. It can't be said that a desert island can't rain at all, but it's impossible to suddenly have a storm like this. Strong enemy. Where is it? Yamato put her wolf tooth stick on his shoulder, looked into the distance, and asked in confusion. Seeing and hearing colors. Si closed his eyes and used the aura of seeing and hearing, but he didn't notice anything. The aura of Si's cultivation are not very impressive. You need to close your eyes and concentrate a lot before you can use it. So in general battles, you don't use the aura of seeing and hearing. No, I'm too weak in my sight. Can you detect anything with my sight, Yamato? Shijo shook his head and opened his eyes, looking at Yamato and asking. Yamato also used the aura of seeing and smelling, but he didn't notice it at all. No, my range of seeing and smelling aura can only detect an area of 5 to 10 meters beyond my line of sight. I'm pretty much the same. Si frowned and said. Si is pondering, and the current situation is that someone has discovered them on the distant Gobi, the enemy is in darkness, and they are in light. So whether to stay in place or continue moving forward made Shijo hesitate. At this moment, Yamato spoke up and said, let's continue moving towards the Gobi. Whether there are people on the Gobi or not, our goal is to go there, isn't it? Staying here now is useless. Si nodded as he looked at Yamato and said, what you said is not wrong. Regardless, on the way there, we must always remain vigilant. Trouble. Yamato shouted loudly, and then he transformed into a beast-like form. Dekojin-shin, also known as the Japanese wolf in Ukiyo-e style. Take my wolf tooth stick and sit on top of me, I'll run over with you. Shijo picked up Yamato's wolf tooth stick and sat on Yamato's body. Yamato ran quickly towards the direction of the Gobi. And on the Gobi, the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. The dragon observed all of this. Is that the demonic fruit of the phantom beast species? It's running towards us at such a fast speed. So, try this move. Thunderbolt. On the desert. With a loud bang. A lightning bolt unexpectedly struck straight at Yamato and Shijo and their companions. Armed colors, flowing cherry blossoms. Sitting on Yamato's back, Shijo waved Yamato's wolf tooth club and used the dominance of Sakura to defend against lightning. What a powerful domineering aura, and the red external armed color domineering aura, it should be the unique domineering aura of the Kingdom of Harmony. Are you really from Kaido's side? Long couldn't help but sigh when he saw that Si Jiao Si had used the aura of flowing Sakura to defend against his lightning attack. But what would happen if there were more quantities? Boom. 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 The frequency of lightning strikes has increased. Damn it. We're almost unable to defend ourselves, Yamato. Can we speed up? Shijo Si asked anxiously while defending against lightning. No, it's already moving at full speed now. So, do you still have the energy to use the seeing, hearing, and coloring technique at the same time? Sure. See if we can pinpoint where the enemy is. I got it. Yamato advanced at full speed while using his aura to explore the direction of the next door. Got it. There's someone in our 12 o'clock direction. Can we attack? I know, no attendant Bingia. Yamato opened his mouth and fired a powerful ice gas directly towards the 12 o'clock direction. How's it going? Did you attack it? No, dodged. It seems to be running towards us, Yamato responded. Upon hearing these words, Shijo Si smiled and said, they're coming towards us. Alright, if we were to engage in close combat, we wouldn't have lost. Si Jiao Si has full confidence. If he and Yamato's strength go up together, even if they face the fourth emperor, they may not necessarily lose. Moreover, it is unlikely that this enemy has the strength of the fourth emperor. After all, there are only 4 people in the world known as the Emperors of the Sea. If there were anyone with similar strength to them, then there shouldn't be only the fourth emperor. Dragon Flash. A dragon descended from the sky, and a huge pressure hit Shijo Si and Yamato. Shijo Si and Yamato both looked up and saw the dragon, punching towards their void. But just the fist style dealt them considerable damage. Dragon. Shijo Si exclaimed in surprise. Who is it? Yamato exclaimed in confusion. Field expansion. Infinite space. Si Jiao Si couldn't withstand the power of the dragon's fist, so he extended his palm and wrapped his middle and index fingers together. The body of the boundless void transformed and defended against the dragon's fist wind. The dragon was floating in the air, looking at its black body and was very interested in it. What kind of fruit ability is this? It's really interesting. So, let's take a look at our defense. Dragon Claw. The dragon's palm attacked towards the shell of the infinite space. Pada. Pada. The black shell shattered. Not really. Long looked at Shijo Si and Yamato, who were exposed from the cracks in his body, and said with a smile, then prepared to move on. Dragon, stop fighting. We are not enemies. We are people from the country of Heji, refugees who have escaped from it. Shijo Si extended his hand and explained. You two don't seem like refugees in strength. Long looked at Shijo Si and Yamato with a skeptical gaze. It's true that we secretly infiltrated the ship selling sea-building stones in Kaido and robbed it, but encountered a shipwreck and drifted to this island. If you don't believe it, you can send someone to investigate. There are no outsiders on this island except for us. Si Jiao Si explained to Long. Long looked at Shijo Si and Yamato without speaking, but instead borrowed his ability, Storm, to use his aura of seeing, hearing, and color, so that he could observe the situation of the entire island. Indeed, no other enemies were found, and no ships were found on the sea. It was only then that Long believed the words of Si Jiao Si and Yamato. Why are you attacking our lookout? Long Sun asked. Attack the lookout. No. Shijo Si shook his head in confusion and responded. Ah, was it my original hairless ice tooth that attacked your people? I'm really sorry, I just heard that Shijo Si wanted to use my ice gas to cool down. It's quite hot in the desert. Yamato returned to human form, bowing and apologizing. At this moment, the dragon also used its aura of seeing and hearing to perceive that the lookout was not at fault. Believe what you say for now, come with me. The dragon returned to the ground and walked towards the direction of the Gobi. Upon seeing this, Stusi and Yamato followed the dragon. In an instant, the storm stopped. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Conversations with the Revolutionary Army. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Conversations with the Revolutionary Army 5 Sorry, Dragon Leader. I was scared and couldn't resist, so I fired a signal flare. The lookout apologized after returning to the base. It's okay, my comrade. Fortunately, we didn't make a big mistake this time, said Long. Long, actually, I have heard of you and am also very interested in some of your ideas. May I have a conversation? Stusi walked forward and asked Long. It's strange to say that you are isolated from the country and should not receive any external information. How do you know about me and my philosophy? Long turned to look at Stusi and asked. The country of Heji is not completely closed, is it? There is still a way to receive information from the outside world. In fact, as a resident of Heji, my dream has always been to drive away Kaido and return the country to the people of Heji. So I have always wanted to meet the famous revolutionary on the sea. Long. Stusi looked at Long seriously. Alright, then let's talk about it. Come with me. Stusi followed Long to Long's office. And Yamato followed the others in the base to communicate. Yamato was particularly happy at this moment because he could hear many interesting stories while communicating with these revolutionary armies. What subverts a country, what kills a foolish ruler, what people follow them in uprisings, overthrow emperors, and so on, these stories are simply too interesting. Let's talk a little more, is there anything else? Yamato asked excitedly, his eyes shining. Of course there is, and we also. Stop talking, come and work quickly. Sabo walked over and tapped the revolutionary soldier's head displeasedly. We finally arrived, my friend. Can't we take a break? Sabo. At this moment, Kella, who was sitting on the side, looked at Sabo and coquettishly said. We still have a lot of work to deal with, and if we want to chat, we can talk later when we have a break at night. Sabo twisted his head and his tone became calm. Work is so boring, it's important to balance work and rest. This time, I finally had a girl come, so of course, I need to be good. Dang. Terry Kildeo struck Kella's head with a knife. Sabo can't control you, but I'm still here, Kella. Don't think if Kuha's not here, you can do whatever you want, Terry Kildeo preached to Kella. Kerla covered her head and pouted as she looked at Terry Kildeo. No need. Kerla stood up directly and ran out with Yamato. Kella. Terry Kildeo shouted angrily, but Kella did not turn back. Forget it, Terry Kildeo. Sabo patted Terry Kildeo on the shoulder and comforted him. You should spoil her. Kella is actually quite good, and she works very seriously in her daily life. But she's only in her teens, so it's normal to want to play around. Sabo said. Aren't you also in your teens? After all, I'm the chief of the general staff. Sabo laughed and suddenly became serious. There's a responsibility on me. Outside. Kerla brought Yamato to a hidden small cave. How interesting this place is. Yamato watched as various symbols and characters were painted on the walls of the cave. Well, these are all my paintings. Once my most precious place and people. It should be said that only fish are right, Since I was brought by teacher Kuha since I was young, I have come here when I was lonely. Later, Sabo discovered it and would occasionally come here to accompany me all night. Don't you want to hear interesting stories? Let me tell you my story. In Long's office. Long looked at Stusi in shock and said, your philosophy has shocked me. Si Jiao Si and Long talked a lot about philosophy and other things from their past lives, which made Long stunned. Actually, what I want to say is that many parts of the world are still undeveloped, such as in our country of Harmony, where almost all the people are unaware of its rise and fall. The country has been sold to thieves, and they still believe that the world is prosperous and peaceful. Mr. Long, what you have overthrown are only the ruling positions of some tyrants and incompetent rulers. However, the essence has not changed, only from one emperor to another. In my personal opinion, the most important thing in overthrowing the world government is to liberate people's minds and let them know that it's better for kings and nobles to have a kind of peace. Those seemingly lofty nobles and world nobles, like ordinary people like Tom, have to eat, defecate, drink water, and sleep. This is crucial. Long nodded in response and said, "You're right, Mr. Shijo. Your words are a wake-up call to me. I thought we could just recruit troops and one day overthrow the world government, but now it seems. Recruiting troops and buying horses to overthrow the world government, what year and month will it take? Even if they are as strong as the 4 emperors, they dare not go to war with the world government. Therefore, to defeat such a powerful world government, we need the power of the people." Long looked at Si Jiao Si, lost in thought, then stood up and handed him something. "This is the token of our revolutionary army. Within the secret base of Kerla." "Boo-hoo. You were just like me when you were young. When I was young, I was also put in prison by Kato. I didn't want to eat or drink. If there were not some warriors around and saved me, I wouldn't know what would happen." After listening to Kerla's story, Yamato shed tears. "Have you been arrested by the 4th Emperor Kaido since you were young?" "Well, it's mainly because Kaido is so despicable. I just admire Oda and want to become him, but he's so angry. It's okay not to give it to me later, and he even taught me some martial arts. Otherwise, if I go out to sea and encounter something like just now, I wouldn't have the ability to protect myself at all." Wait, listen to what you mean. Later on, the 4th Emperor Kaido treated you quite well and even called you martial arts. Kella was a bit confused. She thought that Yamato had been captured, ravaged, tortured, and humiliated by the 4th Emperor Kaido since she was young, just like what she experienced when she was sold to the Tianlong people. But the result seems to be different. When it comes to Kaido, it's actually my dad's, although I don't want to admit it," Yamato sighed helplessly in response. 4th Emperor Kaido. Is it your father?" Kerla stood up incredulously and shouted at Yamato. "Yeah, even though he hasn't put me in prison anymore, he has been keeping me under house arrest. If it weren't for encountering Si Jiao Si, I would probably still be imprisoned by Kaido in the kingdom of Watanabe." End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Kerla boarding the ship. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Kerla boarding the ship. 6. After listening to the story of Yamato, Kerla admired him more. Because in Kerla's eyes, the 4th Emperor Kaido was a ruthless pirate, a true pirate. Moreover, plundering the country and leaving the people of the country in dire straits, such as the 4th Emperor Kaido, is exactly what their revolutionary army wants to expel. It's just that the strength of the revolutionary army is not enough to go to war with a 4th Imperial Regiment, and Long's philosophy tends to directly overthrow the world government. As for pirates, Long is not so concerned. Moreover, within the revolutionary army, they all think the same way. Pirates are pirates, and their revolutionary army has a broader goal. As for suppressing pirates, it will have to wait until they overthrow the rule of the world government. So Kerla admires Yamato very much. After realizing that his father was a notorious pirate and a criminal who invaded the country, he resolutely chose to exterminate his family with righteousness. This is the true hero. It's not because of what kind of person she admires that she is admired, but rather because she is a person who truly cares for the country that gave birth to and raised her. can I go on an adventure with you at sea? Kerla also wants to go to the sea to see more, observe this world, and get to know this world. Once, Kerla believed that the world was dark and could not see any light. Later, Kerla believed that human nature was dark, with only cunning and cunning. Finally, Kerla discovered that there were also passionate people in the world who wanted to bring light to the world. But now, Kerla feels that her understanding of this world is not enough. In the Revolutionary Army, every day they only go to suppress the tyrants of certain countries, give speeches in certain places, and inspire the people to rebel. But just that, Kerla felt that her world was too narrow. For Yamato, they also witnessed a broader world beyond the country of harmony. But for Kerla, the arrival of Yamato also brought her a world she didn't know. Yamato looked at Kerla, who was filled with longing and anticipation, as if she had seen herself in the past. It was her childhood when she first saw the diary of Kazuki Oda. It should be just this kind of expression. Okay. Then come with us and turn this world upside down. No way. Unexpectedly, upon returning to the base, Kerla and Sabo explained their intentions. Sabo didn't even think about it and directly refused Kerla. Why? I also want to go on an adventure at sea, I want to witness this world with my own eyes. Kerla retorted inexplicably. You're only 17 years old, the sea is too dangerous, Sabo retorted. What's wrong with being 17? Sabo, you're only 16 years old and already the chief of the general staff of our Revolutionary Army. You often follow various army captains and dragon leaders around the world, Kerla retorted. At this moment, Terry Kildea walked over and placed his hand on Kerla's shoulder, saying earnestly, Kerla, you should be very aware of how dangerous the sea is. Every time we go out, we go to fight our lives. There are also many comrades who have never returned after their actions. I am very skilled. I have already learned the fishman karate taught by teacher Koha, and I have also learned the plum blossom arm, which is what you call the armed colorful dominance. It's not about how much martial arts you know, it's about me not wanting you to go out to sea. Why, I am a person with a sense of freedom. You are imprisoning me now, you are treating me as a slave. What is the difference between you and those towering dragon people now? Kella shouted angrily. What a person once lacked, the more they want to get after she grows up. For Kerla, it's freedom. Kerla, who was sold to the Tianlong people as a slave since childhood, lost her freedom. So when she was rescued, freedom was her lifelong pursuit. Not only does she want freedom, but she also wants to give freedom to others who are oppressed by the world government, the Tianlong people, and those high-ranking officials and nobles. So she has always been willing to stay in the Revolutionary Army, because the purpose of the Revolutionary Army is to give time freedom. But now, she feels that there doesn't seem to be that much freedom within the Revolutionary Army. Kella, how could you say that? We were worried about you. Sabo followed suit, at least with the protection of the dragon leaders, but you went out to sea alone, or with someone we just met. How could we be at ease? Terry Kildea looked helplessly at Kella and said. Terry Kildea is really worried about Kella, and he is also someone who has watched Kella grow up since childhood. Kella is also considered half a daughter to him. Don't worry, I and Si Jiao Si will definitely protect Kella well. Yamato stood up her wolf-toothed stick and said. At this moment, Long and Si Jiao Si walked out of the office. Long looked at the scene in front of him and asked, I've heard you guys making a fuss since the beginning, what's wrong? Before Sabo and Terry Kildea could say anything, Kella ran straight to the dragon's face, stood at attention, and stared at the dragon with firm eyes, saying, Dragon leader, I want to go out on an adventure with the two of them. Is that right? The dragon looked at Kerla and nodded. Go ahead. What can stop someone from going out to sea? We are all free and should pursue what we want. People should live for themselves. Upon hearing the dragon's words, Kella smiled happily. In an instant, joy jumped up. However, Terry Kildeo was still a bit worried. After all, Shijo-si and Yamato had just met, and there was also some friction between the Revolutionary Army and the two of them at the beginning. Although the misunderstanding has been resolved, Terry Kildeo still has some distrust of Shijo-si and Yamato. Dragon leaders, after all, they are pirates, and... Terry Kildeo, I know you're worried, but it's okay. I had a great conversation with Comrade 4. He's a great thinker and even a revolutionary. I believe in his character. Koha's back, I'll talk to him, and I think Koha will understand. Long looked down at Terry Kildeo and said. Terry Kildeo couldn't refute what the dragon said. He still believed in the dragon's eye for people. Surprisingly, I also want to go out to sea with Kerla. Dragon leader. Sabo suddenly stood up and shouted. No way. Long refused without even thinking. Why, you just said. You are the brain of our revolutionary army. If you leave, our revolutionary army can also be disbanded. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Too weak. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. 2 weeks. 7. Sabo ultimately did not succeed because Long was right. Nowadays, Sabo handles most of the internal affairs of the Revolutionary Army, so if he really leaves, the Revolutionary Army will be in chaos. I'll give this ship to you, for comrades. I hope we can meet again someday. Long looked at Si Jiao-si and said. Well, having a conversation with Mr. Long has also taught me a lot of knowledge. Kerla, remember to eat well, and although you already know how to arm yourself, you still need to practice diligently. Enemies on the sea are very powerful. You also need to practice well in terms of seeing and hearing colors. Your seeing and hearing colors are too domineering, Sabo said anxiously as he looked at Kerla. I know now, I will practice well. In this way, Kerla joined Shijo-si, Yamato, and left the white soil. Baldigo. Ah. I forgot. What we need most now is a navigator. If we encounter another shipwreck, we may not be as lucky as this time. After the ship had sailed away from Baldigo, Shijo-si finally remembered the person he needed the most now. A navigator. I can become one. I grew up with the fishermen since I was young, and the sea is as familiar to me as home. Kerla ran out with a smile and said. Oh, yes. You grew up with a mermaid and should be very familiar with the sea. That's great, Yamato. You pulled an important person onto the boat. Shijo-se held Yamato's hands and praised him. Ha, right. I also think Kerla is very good. And it's similar to my childhood experience. I treat her like my sister, Yamato replied with a smile. Big sister Yamato. Sister Kella. Kella holds Dawa in her arms and shows a deep sister's love in front of Shijo-si. Shijo-si smiled and then turned towards the bow of the boat, shouting, so, move towards Happy Street. Oh. Oh. At this time in the Kingdom of Peace, Ghost Island. Haven't Yamato found it yet? Young Master Yamato doesn't know where she went. I haven't seen her trace for the past few days, and we have had someone investigate in the Flower City and other places, but still. Forget it, with the bracelet around, Yamato can't escape from the land of harmony. The most important thing now is to investigate what happened to the ship transporting the sea tower stones. If Lord Kaido blames us, we will all have a hard time. Yes. A few days later, Shijo-si and his companions arrived at Happy Street. This time, with Kerla's strong knowledge of navigation or oceanography, he drove very smoothly to Happy Street. This is the underground black market famous in the New World. The entire island is full of criminals, pirates, and robbers, but they are very law-abiding. Because the ruler of Happy Street is one of the famous emperors in the underground world. Queen Stusi of Happy Street. Stusi is not only beautiful, but also ruthless in his actions, and has strong abilities. I have been friends with the fourth Emperor Big Mom for many years. No one dares to cause trouble on Stusa's territory. No one dares to cause trouble on Happy Street. What are we doing here? Yamato asked in confusion. Others dare not, but we dare. Only in this way can we make the world remember our reputation. We easily do things that others dare not do and retreat completely. I think our initial bounty must start with billions. Si Tiao Si said. Speaking of which, it seems that our revolutionary army will also purchase weapons on this black market. For items, it's better not to go too far, Kella said anxiously. After all, the existence of the black market also helps the revolutionary army, which is something that cannot be done. I know, I just want to catch a few big pirates. I specifically bought a complete set of bounty orders from News Bird. Saying this, Si Tiao Si took out a stack of bounty orders. That's too much. Do you want to remember all the people above? Kella asked with widened eyes. Well, there's no other way. If we were to be exposed to this information on a regular basis, we would have memorized it unconsciously. Now we can only rely on rote memorization. Si Tiao Si held his forehead with one hand and said with a slight headache. Excuse me. Yamato threw the bounty order aside and let it run out. No, wait for Yamato. Si Tiao Si and Kella chased after him. As soon as she walked onto the deck, she saw that Yamato had already run to the shore and smashed her wolf tooth stick hard on the ground, causing a strong vibration forcing many people to look towards her. Yamato began her speech upon seeing the situation. I am Guanyue Yutian. You can also call me Wuha. I am here to challenge you. Pirates with a reward of over 100 million, come out. However, no one paid attention to Yamato. Everyone just sneered at Yamato's behavior, shook their heads, and left. After all, this is Happy Street. It's unbelievable to dare to cause trouble here. Hey! What are you doing? This is Happy Street. If you dare to cause trouble, don't blame us for being impolite. Quickly, a team of people and horses ran towards Yamato. Humph. Yamato snorted coldly and glared at the team, instantly sending an invisible pressure from Yamato's body. Not only the team of people, but also many people on the street fainted. Even the Kella on the ship is a bit overwhelmed. This is... Kella said in surprise, holding one hand on her forehead. It's domineering, shouted a pirate on the street who hadn't fainted. Humph, no wonder you dare to run to Happy Street and cause trouble. But even if it's domineering, what's wrong? My name is Fanks. I'm called the Sonic Fanks. There's a reward of 230 million yuan. Let me meet you. The pirate who claimed to be Fanks pulled out his knife and disappeared in place. When? In the blink of an eye, Yamato directly hammered Fanks to the ground, and Fanks was no longer human-like and fell into a pool of blood. Too weak. Yamato shouted loudly. Ah, there's nothing we can do. Yamato has already started. Let's go up too and turn this place upside down. Sijo Si sighed helplessly and said. Then Si Tiao Si also jumped off the ship. Hey! No way, if we destroy this place, we... It's okay, the black market is not just here. Even if it really destroys a black market here, it shouldn't have any impact, explained Shijo Si. Kerla, let's go straight to find the Queen of Happy Street. Stacy. Let's leave this to Yamato. Our goal is to become famous, so we don't need to stand up and compete like Yamato. Si Tiao Si doesn't have the physical strength to engage in will battles with Daiwa. Oh, good. Kerla followed Si Tiao Si and ran towards the depths of Happy Street. And Yamato is still mercilessly waving her fangs. They're all too weak. Come again. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. For General Snag. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 4 Generals Snag 8 in the office of Stacy on Happy Street. Study is talking to Charlotte Snag, one of the 4 stars known as the Big Mom Pirates. At this moment, a servant of Stusi ran in from outside in a panic. Not good, sir. There's a woman outside who claims to be Yamato. She's causing trouble. Study glared displeasedly and said, "Isn't it just a troublemaker? You just need to deal with it. As for running to me in a panic to report. No, sir. That woman is powerful and can even be domineering and domineering. Even the Sonic Sphinx, with a bounty of 230 million yuan, was instantly killed by her fangs." What? Dominant and domineering. Study stood up and shouted in shock. Although Study has been wandering in the underground world for so many years and has met many domineering sea lords, she would still be very scared to face such people. Although she is an elite member of the CP0, she dare not provoke any sea lords. Women, can they be domineering and domineering? They call themselves Kobayashi Oda. Is there such a person on the sea? Stuxy thought to the famous pirates. But I didn't think of such a female pirate named Yamato who had a domineering and domineering aura. Oh, by the way, that woman said she could also be called Yamato. Yamato. That's not true either, said Study with a frown. Study, if my mom asks me to bring it to you, then I'll leave first. Charlotte Snag stood up and said to Study. Lord Snag, please stay. Bang dang. Before Stusi could finish speaking, Sishiasi and Kella smashed into the wall. I didn't expect to encounter one of the 4 generals again, so don't think about leaving today. Sijo-si looked at Charlotte Snag and said with a smile. Meeting Charlotte Snag was an unexpected pleasure for Sijo-si, who had originally intended to capture the Queen of Happy Street. Study. If we can defeat one of the 4 generals directly now, then our reputation will definitely rise by chance. What kind of person? Charlotte Snag frowned and squinted as she looked fiercely at Sijo-si. My name is Si-Jiao-si. My name is Kella. Humph, no matter who you are, you actually know that I am one of the 4 generals and dare to challenge me. You have the courage, but today, don't think you can leave this island alive. Charlotte Snag sneered and said. I will return this sentence to you in its original form. Give it back to you. So go to hell. Charlotte Snag pulled out a potato from her hand and said. No, wait for Snag. Study shouted, trying to stop Charlotte Snag. But it was too late, and a white light flashed by. With a loud bang, Study's office was flattened. Cough cough. Snag. Do you want to blow me up together? Study stood up from the ruins and shouted angrily. With your strength, you shouldn't have died, Charlotte Snag responded coldly. That's not good either. I've spent all my makeup and my new clothes are torn. Study still shouted angrily. Tisk, troublesome woman. Charlotte Snag ignored Study's complaints and instead looked at Si-Jiao-si and Kella. Si-Jiao-si stood still, completely unharmed by the explosion. However, Kerla's situation is a bit bad. Although Kerla timely used his armed aura to defend, he still suffered considerable damage. Is everything okay, Kella? Sijo-si asked anxiously. Kerla wiped the blood flowing from the wound on her face and said, It's okay, this small injury is nothing. Okay, help me deal with Study, that woman. I'll deal with this chubby guy. Okay. Kerla ran toward Stusi. Charlotte Snag didn't care, but looked at Sijo-si and said, I didn't expect to be able to withstand my explosive potato. It seems you're not an ordinary person. However, I haven't heard of your name on the ocean. Is it the new supernova that debuted this year? Defeating you is the beginning of my legend. Ryukura, said Sijo-si with a crooked smile. Sijo-si punched Charlotte Snag and the two of them started fighting like this. And on the other side. Study saw Kella running towards her and turned around to run away. It's not that Study is afraid he won't be able to defeat Kerla, but he's afraid he'll be accidentally injured by Charlotte's Snag again. Study looked at Kella and saw that the damage from Charlotte Snag's potato bomb was more severe than himself. He should have been armed with a less domineering aura than himself. So Study wanted to leave the area where Charlotte Snag would accidentally injure him before fighting with Kerla. That's about it here, Study muttered to himself, turning back directly. Finger gun. Ah. Kerla's shoulder was hit. It doesn't seem like it's really any different, little girl, said Study with a smile. Kerla covered her shoulder with one hand and a bitter expression appeared on her face. Not good, my head just exploded and I feel a bit dizzy. Study looked at Kerla and slowly walked towards her, asking, tell me, where do you come from? Although your strength is not very strong, that woman named Shijo should not be weak. By the way, there is also a woman named Yamato, who is also one of your people. Is she a newly debuted pirate? Ah, yes. We just went out to sea not long ago. Just recently set sail, dare you come to my happy street to cause trouble. Even the guys who are called supernovae by the Navy every year dare not provoke my territory. You are really brave. Fishman karate. 5,000 what fist. Seeing Study walking into her, Kella raised her palm and attacked him directly. With a bang. Puff. Study spat out a mouthful of blood. Finger the gun. Study didn't hesitate, raised his finger, and scrapped Kella's other arm as well. I'll retract my previous statement. At least your attack power is quite strong, but it's just that. You can't beat me anymore. Now that both of your arms are useless, why are you still fighting me? However, Fishman karate. That should be a move that only fishermen and mermaid tribes can do. Judging from your appearance, it shouldn't be fishman or mermaid either. Stusi said, looking at Kerla's legs. Even if a mermaid grows up and its fins separate into something resembling legs, they still look like fins, not like human legs or feet. My mentor is a fisherman, a great fisherman. A fisherman who contributes to the freedom of this world. Kella shouted loudly. Oh, freedom. Interesting. Study smiled. It seems that I need to have a good chat with this little girl. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Kella vs. Stusi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Kerla vs. Stusi 9 Freedom. This word is not particularly special. It can be said that in this world, many pirates go to sea for freedom. But the only ones who often talk about freedom and shout slogans are the Revolutionary Army. Moreover, according to intelligence from the world government, there is a fisherman named Haku in the Revolutionary Army who has a deep friendship with one of the 7 armed seas, Shirhei. However, there has only been no absolute evidence found, and the world government has not delved into it in order to consolidate the legitimate status of the 7 armed seas. Fishman, I do know one of the very powerful fishmen 7 martial seas. Ping, you should know him, said Stuxi casually. But when Kerla heard the name Shirhei, her pupils were in a direct earthquake. Kerla recalled her experience 6 years ago when she was just saved by Fisher Taylor and spent time with the Sun Pirates. And Shirhei also took good care of her in the Sun Pirates, and was also the master who taught her fishman karate before Haku. After following Haku to the Revolutionary Army, Haku taught her. So for Kerla, she has 2 masters, one is Shiping and the other is Haku. Study almost burst out laughing when he saw Kella's flustered gaze. It was just a confession. However, Stusi only suspected that there was an intersection between Kella and Shirhei, and did not suspect that Kella's master was Shirhei. That's right, my master is the leader of Shiping. Kella turned her head helplessly and said. Kella thought, there's no need to hide it anyway, just say it. Ping is now Kawaii, just say she taught her when she was a child. And she taught her fishman karate when she was a child, she didn't lie. Now it's Studi's turn to be messy. Her fishman karate is very mediocre, don't joke, shipping comes from the Sun Pirates. You should have heard of the Sun Pirates, too. They were all a group of terrorists who hate humans, founded by Fisher Taylor. That's right. I grew up in the Sun Pirates when I was a child. I used to be a slave to the dragons, and it was Fisher Taylor who saved me from the darkness. So, I want to break the darkness of this world. Fishman karate. Kerla gritted her teeth and held back the pain, lifting her arm up. Don't act recklessly. Your arms will really go down like this. Study shouted in surprise as he looked at Kerla. The mystery. Iron blocks. Study used iron blocks directly to defend. Wu Lai is used to it. Bang. With one palm strike, Stuxi was directly shot several tens of meters away, and the entire population of Stuxi vomited blood before falling to the ground. And Kerla collapsed to the ground due to this desperate blow. However, just after Kerla fell unconscious, Stusi stood up again. Damn it, I really underestimated you, little girl. Study dragged her shaky body to Kerla's side and said, I need to take you away. There should be many secrets you can dig out. On the other side. The battle between Stusi and Charlotte Snag is still ongoing. It's just that the four divisions have the upper hand, and if Charlotte Snag continues to play chess, losing is already a fact. Damn it. This guy's armed and domineering might be even stronger than Katakuri. If this continues, I will definitely lose. Charlotte Snag and Stusi distanced themselves. Si, your armed and domineering aura is stronger than mine. But even so, don't try to defeat me. Charlotte Snag said, squatting down and touching the ground with her hands. The ground turned into a puddle of mashed potatoes. What? Are you, the fruit ability awakened? Stusi was startled when he saw this. Charlotte Snag, who was known as the shame of the 4 stars, surprisingly awakened her fruit power. However, after thinking for a moment, Stusi realized that Minga was offering a reward of 500 million yuan, and his fruit ability had also awakened. Even if he had awakened to over 600 million yuan, there was not much problem. Humph, die. Bang, bang, bang. The entire street was blown up to the sky. Study, dragging Kella slowly in the distance, cursed, this soul-weak Snag. Are you trying to destroy my happy street? Damn it. The field is expanding. Under the continuous and powerful explosions, Stusi couldn't defend himself by relying solely on his armed colors and had to use his domain expansion to transform his body into an infinite void for defense. But the body didn't last long and was also destroyed by the explosion. The explosion lasted for more than 10 minutes before it ended, and a huge crater was blown out in the central area of Happy Street. When the smoke dissipated, Charlotte Snag saw the 4 men standing in the center of the circular pit, covered in scars and their clothes bombed out, with only their shorts left. Stusi, it's over. Is it over? Hee, Stusi sneered. You have no chance of winning under my fruit ability. Even if your armed color is strong, you cannot withstand another explosion from me. Stusi listened to Charlotte Snagger's words while lowering his head, closing his eyes, and then slowly looking up and opening his eyes. 6 eyes. Suddenly, Stusi's eyes became clear and bright, as if the entire universe was mapped into Stusi's eyes. The battle has just begun. About 10 minutes ago. The port has ended the great harmony of the 100 people / and is preparing to challenge the 1,000 people /. But no one dares to approach Yamato anymore. And there was a huge explosion in the center of the town. Almost the entire town has gone into hiding. Yamato looked towards the center of the town. See. Kella. Yamato picked up his wolf-tooth stick and ran towards the center of the town. But the closer it is to the center of the explosion, the stronger the force of the shock wave, making it impossible for Yamato to approach. Damn it! See, Kella. You must not have anything to do. Just then, Yamato heard such a sound coming from the nearby alley. This soul-weak Snag. Are you trying to destroy my happy street? Yamato looked in the direction of the sound and saw Stusi and Kerla. Kerla. Soul faint, let go of Kerla. Yamato ran toward Stusi. What? Before Study could react, Yamato's wolf tooth stick had already greeted Study's face. Thundering gossip. Yamato embedded Stusi's entire body in the wall. Then Yamato knelt on the ground, picked up Kerla, and shouted, Kerla. Kerla. Wake up. Kerla. Don't die. But I don't know how to treat you. What to do? What to do? Wake up. Kerla. At this moment, the two figures slowly walked behind Yamato. What person? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Field Expansion. Infinite Space. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Field Expansion. Infinite Space 10. As a cheat for the crosser, Seijo-C's ability is included in the spell battle, which also includes various spells. However, Seijo-C has never used this spell because it is useless in the world of pirates. Teacher Gojo's 6 eyes can see through everything about spells, but there are no spells in the world of pirates. Using it is equivalent to not using anything. It's better to use a body shell in an infinite space, which can also serve as a protective cover. But now it's different, getting to know the Revolutionary Army and having a big scene on Happy Street. Let Seijo-C gain a new ability just now, which is the no lower bound technique. After this battle, Seijo-C also somewhat understood what the reputation reward system was all about. It's not that the number of people who know you determines your reputation. It is determined by the understanding of yourself by the people who know you. That is to say, Charlotte Snagher believed that the 4 tails were very powerful, and the armed color was even more powerful than Katakuri, which increased the reputation of the 4 tails by a large amount of points. Respect, admiration, fear, and so on from others can all increase reputation points. The stronger the feelings of respect, admiration, and fear, the more points will increase. This is the rating standard for reputation value. Happy Street Town Center. Charlotte Snag looked at the 4 sisters standing up from the exploding pit and shouted, surprisingly, then let's show you true despair. Charlotte Snag bent down and touched the ground again, turning it into a potato. Ha! With Charlotte Snag scolding, the entire ground was once again lifted, and the entire crater was like a volcanic eruption, rolling and boiling. At the center of the explosion, Seijo-C lightly jumped up and supported the blast to reach Charlotte Snag. What? Charlotte Snag looked at the 4 sis in front of her and exclaimed in disbelief. An explosion is still occurring behind Seijo-C, but the shock wave generated by the explosion seems to have automatically avoided Seijo-C. It's over, Charlotte Snag. Seijo-C raised a hand and entwined his middle and index fingers. Expanding the field, boundless space. This time, it is a truly infinite space. Charlotte Snagher felt as if she was in the vast universe, with countless thoughts like stars, all merging into her brain. What? What? What's going on? I seem to know everything, but I don't know anything. At this moment, I seem to be able to do anything, but I can't do anything. Flowing cherry blossoms, Euler Euler Euler. In the realm of the infinite space, Seijo-C used the dominance of Sakura to pass through Euler Charlotte Snag until it was confirmed that Charlotte Snag was unconscious before stopping. Subsequently, the 4 divisions unraveled the field and expanded. This is really amazing. I am invincible. Seijo looked at Charlotte Snag, who was unconscious on the ground, and said in surprise. Seijo-C now feels that it's not a problem for him to directly enter the Holy Land of Mary and capture that guy named him. And in a house not far away. Why did an explosion happen again? Lightning leaned against the window and complained as he looked at the explosion in the central block. Alright, Kerla's life is no longer in danger, and she can even be said to have recovered. Just wait for her to wake up now, said Embryo Ivankov, finishing his surgery on Kerla and wiping the sweat from his forehead. Is that all right? Yamato couldn't believe it and checked Kella, seeing that the wound on his shoulder had indeed completely healed. This is too impressive. Yamato exclaimed. Haha, this little injury is nothing. But, girl, why are you with Kella? Embryo Ivankov turned his head to look at Yamato's puzzled question. Do you know Kerla? Of course I do, otherwise why would I come for treatment? Then you are also the Revolutionary Army. When Yamato uttered the word, both Ivankov and Lightning became alert. What if it were someone from the world government, compared to the guy in front of them who doesn't even know who is holding a wolf's tooth stick? Be careful with everything. While Ivankov and Lightning were contemplating how to answer Yamato, a person broke into the room. I found you all. Without saying a word, Lightning picked up the scissors and lifted the floor, but Shijo-si extended his palm and the floor stopped in mid-air. Ivankov looked at the bright and divine eyes of Shijo-si, as if they were the whole world. I thought to myself, this guy is definitely not an ordinary person. See. You're okay. Yamato shouted joyfully when he saw Shijo-si. Ha, this is just a 4-general star, it's not my opponent yet. Said Shijo-si, throwing Charlotte Snag, who was holding her other hand, into the room. Then he walked slowly in and turned to look at Ivankov and Lightning. Don't be nervous anymore. Saying this, Shijo-si took out the token given to him by the dragon from his pocket. Fortunately, this token was not destroyed. Mr. Long and I have forgotten our friendship, and we have a good conversation. He also recognizes me as a person. Shijo-si handed the token to Ivankov and said. Ivankov checked the token and it was indeed a token used by the Revolutionary Army to determine the identity of comrades. So it's a comrade. Haha, I guess so, but I didn't join your revolution. Ah. As Shijo-si spoke, he suddenly felt like he had lost all his strength, as if someone had suddenly drained his energy and strength with a needle, losing his essence and spirit. The bright and divine 6 eyes also returned to their original state. An indescribable sense of emptiness swept across Shijo-si. What's going on? Suddenly, I feel like the world has become so dark and lifeless. Although I can see everything, it seems like I can't see anything. What's going on? Boy. Ivankov hugged Shishiaji and asked. Ha. Ha. It's okay, it's just a bit weak. Shijo shook his hand and said he was okay, then leaned on Ivankov's shoulder and barely stood up. Shijo-si kept panting heavily in his mouth. This kind of explosion, even if we can win, is probably a fierce battle. It's also very likely that you will collapse, boy. Please rest well. It's okay. It's okay. Shijo-si walked up to Stusi with his body propped up. Is this Stusi? Shijo-si asked hesitantly. I guess so, I'm not sure. When I saw her dragging Korra unconscious, I didn't think much and just hit her in the face with a wolf's tooth stick, Yamato responded. Well, Ivankov, can you help me treat her? The purpose of my visit this time is to catch her. If she dies, it will be difficult to deal with. Shijo-si turned to look at Ivankov and pleaded. End of this chapter.